Welcome to the Herohub Podcast, where we explore the journeys of the industry innovators, trailblazers, and game changers who are shaping the future of vehicles and equipment. Whether you're here for cutting-edge tech, business strategies, or simple love of the ride, this is where you'll find the inspiration to fuel your journey.
My name's Anthony Arbino, TJ, if you know me. That's how I filter out new people in my life. But so I go by TJ. Been at the dealership here for about 5 months. Not new to GM roles, but I am new to powersports. I've always been in it my whole life. So passion turned into work, which is pretty awesome coming from where I'm coming from as far as work history. Our dealership here is in Batavia, Ohio. Very small dealership, in my opinion. We have a total of 7 employees, including service and everything else. So we function pretty efficiently, have a lot of great people around me to learn from. That's us in a nutshell. And dealership's Midwest Polaris. The dealership itself has been around since, I believe, 99. The new owner bought it in late 2021. And since then, I knew him before he bought it, and he tried to get me to come over then, and I couldn't. But now here I am, and he got a much better product by waiting.
What do you like to ride?
Well, I really, really like my 2021 Pro XP. There's nothing stock on it besides the inside of the transmission, full cage, full long travel, blah, blah, blah. That's what my new passion is. I grew up on four-wheelers and dirt bikes and all that. Then the joints started hurting from riding all them. So, and I got a little bit more reckless. So having a full cage around me at all times is a good idea for me. Grew up on street bikes too. Always, up until probably 3 years ago, always had a performance or street bike. And now I value my family and my life a little bit more because I just can't act right on them. So
That's awesome. Is there a moment where you knew this was the right career path?
it's a great question. I never really thought about it as a career until Jason asked me the first time. And I was like, yeah, just not ready for that. Because, being comfortable where I was at, and I was there for 13 years at that point. So I was like, yeah, I can't do it right now. But the longer and longer I thought about, like, happiness has a value, right? Why not be involved in something that you have passion about and can actually make a living? And so I was like, you know what, maybe it's time. So by a weird course of events, seeing Jason out and about, he's like, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. You ready to come work for me? Yeah, actually I am. Let's do this.
So you mentioned happiness. Would you say that's your why? Is there another why behind what you do every day?
Absolutely. So I always tell people ask me what I do, and I'm like, I sell grown-up kids, grown-up toys. And it's just for instance, the last week on Friday, I had a kid come in. I say kid, but he was 27. Had a guy come in, he was 27 years old. His whole life wanted a razor, and that was it. Well, he ended up buying a 4-seater Pro R. So he got the razor, the best razor you could get. And he legitimately cried here in my parking lot. I'm like, you all right, man? He's like, I'm just so happy. And there's so many memories made around these things. And that guy will probably have that, for years and years and years. And once he has kids, he'll introduce them and he'll talk about that machine. And, it's just a lot of good stories and a lot of good things start around the off-road power sport industry. So, because even his dad came up to help him pick it up and all that stuff. And he's like, you have no clue. I was like, no, I think I do actually. Like he broke down right here. I felt like I needed to hold him for a second. But no, it's just the memories that are going to be made, and to be a part of that for so many people, and trying to put our best foot forward and make the actual purchase memorable too. And have them talk about us in that story in 10 years. That's awesome to me. That's what it's about for me now.
What would you say makes your dealership different from other dealerships? How do you differentiate?
I won't say that we differentiate, but we do very well at keeping small mom and pop feel. When you walk in, you know all of us by name, you know what you're going to get. And within the first 10 minutes, if you don't, you do. Like we are, we wear many hats here being small in employee numbers, but everybody's very personable. Everybody's very good. And, that's what we do good. We connect with the customer right away, and we figure out ways to make the customer, get inside that seat and leave with it, and make, just like that guy last week, make dreams or wants, because these, I don't want to say that these things are a need. Sometimes they are for agriculture and things like that, but make people's wants come come real, make them real life for people. So
You mentioned the customer experience. How do you train your employees to make sure that the customer experience is a consistently good one?
so it's a good question, very good question. When I first got here, there wasn't a lot of processes in place. I won't say that we were doing great. It was a little bit of a struggle. It was either kind of a make it or break it type thing. And my approach to each one of my employees were make it organic, make it yours. I'm not going to sit here and tell you exactly how to do this because honestly, I'm not 1,000% sure either. Like I'm learning here too. I'm leaning on you guys as much as you're leaning on me. But after a couple weeks, I just felt like they felt pressure, like, oh, pressure to perform, whether it was me being new here. I knew a lot of them already from just being around, or, I just, sat down with each one of them and said, hey, just make it organic, make it yours. Don't feel like you got to be perfect. Make this all work inside of your universe. And they've embraced that, and it's been great. Like our sales are phenomenal right now. We're not struggling as we used to, year over years look totally different right now. And for the first time this last quarter, we're a 5-star store and a 5-star service store. They've never had that. They've never even, before the second quarter, they've never been a 4-star store. So they're embracing the change and they're just running with it, and it makes it easy for me. They have a high level of investment into this place. I have a 3.5-year employee, I have a 2-year employee, I have a mechanic or a tech that's been here for 2+ years, and another person that's been here just under a year. And there's a lot of pride that happens inside these walls.
What's something that you would say customers don't see behind the showroom floor? What goes on behind the scenes?
The hustle and bustle to make that number work. They don't see it. And I don't want to try to. So before I was here, one of the things that wasn't happening is they weren't empowered, my salespeople. So if you're inside these walls, you're a salesperson, you're a parts person, you're wearing all the hats. And they weren't empowered to look at numbers and, be confident and affect everything. So there was a lot of training on that part right there. What the customers don't always see is how much the guys, my employees and my girl that's here, how much they actually care. Like we lose sleep over stupid little stuff that they may never even see. They're just seeing the deal at the end of the day. But we try to jump through hoops to make it happen for people. And there's a lot of that behind the scenes to make the accessories work or the whole package and things like that.
I love seeing dealerships that really bend over backwards for the customer and make it the best experience possible.
Yeah, that's what it's all about is them. We can't just sit here and think we're going to collect a check, right? And it all comes down to that and, whatever it takes to get it done. There's a lot of stuff like that behind the scenes. And then, service is just a whole different animal. So
tell me, if you could go back and tell your past self one piece of advice, and what would it be? What would you tell yourself?
I'd look at myself like this and say, why did you wait? That's what I would do. It's again, when I say happiness has a value, it absolutely does. And that's just not for me. It's, goes to the customers, to the employees, etc. I struggled to find motivation to go to work for about the last 10 years at my old job. Big industry infrastructure company, doing all the GM roles, but obviously it just wasn't really rewarded for such. Hit a ceiling and I just stayed there just because I thought I had to. So if I could go back 5 years ago, I'd say do it. Take the leap, right? And just trust the process. One thing I learned, somebody told me not long ago was, if you're going to bet on anybody, bet on yourself. I'm like, okay. Finally took a chance and bet on myself, and here we are.
How do you balance work and family life?
Right now, I don't. So being so fresh and trying to develop processes and stuff like that, that's a very offset balance right now. If you ask my wife, I get it, but I'm naturally a workaholic. So it's hard for me not to work. But as far as finding the balance, getting there. Instead of staying inside the office here or inside the dealership, I'll take some stuff home while I'm just hanging out with the kids. And, we've done a huge push for social media and advertising and things like that. And that's really what's changed a lot for us here. So I've given myself a bubble to work inside of, and then outside of that, put the computer up and, spend some time with the wife and kids. So, but right now it's not a very good balance. I'm trying to get better. Some of the things that we do want to do though, as a dealership, is we have a ride getting scheduled for us as team building, and then also inviting our customers to come out and spend some time, see us without the Polaris hats on, without t-shirts on, and come out and just get personal. And it has actually been a request of some of our customers, because I guess they like us that much. They're like, we need to go ride, and I'm like, all right, let's go. So we're
That's
getting that
great.
set up hopefully towards the end of this month, and then that's part of the finding that balance for us.
What's one of the biggest changes you've seen in the industry since you started working and since you started riding even? You've been riding a lot longer.
So we can start with the riding side of things. Riding is, I think I bought my first razor in like 15. Everything's bigger, badder, faster, stronger. Like where it's at now, it's just insane what these machines. Back then when I was riding a 900 and then 1000 XP 1000, it's like, you can't get any better than this. You can do anything you want in these. And now I ride a turbo 4-seater with, aftermarket everything. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So the way that it's grown, and the way that Polaris has just stayed 100% consistent, and mechanics and what they do, just to me, I don't just say this because I'm here, right? I've always rode Polaris. I won't ride anything else, whether I work here or not, because I've rode in them all. I've drove them all. They just keep the mechanics simple. It works, and they have their failure points down to a T, where you can break certain things and still ride all weekend. That's one thing about the industry that is just really cool to me, is even though it's growing and things are changing and new parts are here and there, Polaris stays pretty mechanically level. They're not introducing a bunch of stuff other than electronic stuff to change. And I appreciate that. I hear it from my customers. They appreciate that, and I believe Polaris takes a very keen ear to customers as well. And the improvements that they made, just, for instance, the Ranger transmission upgrade that they did a couple of years ago, they listened to the customers, and now that thing couldn't be better. That's one thing that I like about the way that, personally, the power sports stuff has grown, but not grown. So it's the KISS method. Just keep it simple. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
I love that. And I can hear that you really believe in the products you're selling, and that is so important.
makes it a lot easier. Makes it a lot easier. So I'm not trying to convince people. And if you don't have to convince yourself, it's not hard to talk about it to other people. As far as the dealership, one thing that I never expected was the pricing stuff that you deal with, like in local network and local market with other dealerships. I wasn't ready for that whatsoever. So the growth is sell for less, but sell for more, or sell more. And it's a weird concept, but we've done good. We're actually got pricing strategies in place where we're pulling people from 2 states away, 3 states away. And our main goal is to be that dealership, to have that name that people talk about in Indiana and Illinois and Michigan, because it's starting to get there, and it's pretty cool. And that's over the last month and a half. But in pricing strategy, you got to figure out where you're going to get it. And that was a challenge to myself and the employees. How are we going to make up for it? If we don't make, if you're not making it so much on the initial sale, where are you getting it? So we've challenged ourselves with F&I and accessories and services and things like that. So that's been a very fun growth for us internally, to challenge ourselves and each other, and kind of say, hey, nudge the service department. Hey, I sold all these accessories for you to install. What have you done just on basic service stuff? So that's the fun growth that I've seen. As far as the dealership, and outside of the stuff that we're doing internally, I don't know if I have a lot to input there.
Last question here. I want to hear how the Herohub 20 group has made a difference for you personally, professionally. What are you learning?
Wow, so much. Like sometimes too much, because being so fresh, right? And learning the programs and the benefits to the Polaris programs, and just learning how to work it, right? And all the way down to, I've asked questions about DMS processes, and they're always more than willing. All the peers are always more than willing to take the time. Like I've been on phone calls with other owners of dealerships, and that, hour-long conversations, just out of the goodness of them want to help somebody succeed, and that's the Hero Hub is honestly probably a lot of why we've been able to, well, I won't say why I've been able to grow so quick in position, because there's a lot of great input. The same struggles that I have, they're vocalized inside the groups. And I love that. It's not just like rah, rah, right? It's like, let's get down to the bads too, because we're a Polaris only dealership. So I don't know anything else on the other manufacturer side. A lot of these people do because they're multiple manufacturers, right? So they can get to the nitty gritty and say, hey, this, why are they doing this? Or they know it's wrong. I don't. To me, it's just what we're supposed to do, right? But no, there's so much good input, in the moment input, turns into open source people to lean on. Like it's awesome. It's awesome. It has catapulted my development for sure.
Well, thank you so much to our guests for joining us today, and a huge thank you to our listeners for tuning in. I hope you found today's conversation insightful and inspiring. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others in the powersports industry. We're excited to see you at the next one.